You're not a latte away from being broke by AfroBudgetinGirl. This content is for informational purposes only and reflects my personal experience. It's not financial advice. An honest conversation about why your budget feels tight. If you've ever looked at your budget and felt confused, not because you overspend, but because the numbers still feel tight despite doing everything right, this article is for you. A lot of budgeting advice starts with the same line. Stop buying coffee, cancel your gym, cut the small pleasures. But let's speak honestly. Your weekly Spanish latte is not the reason reaching your goals feels slow. Your gym membership is not sabotaging your financial future. Your joy moments, the ones you've budgeted for, are not the source of your financial stress. Something else is happening, and it has nothing to do with your discipline. I've lived this. There were moments where I was budgeting carefully, tracking everything, and still felt like I couldn't move forward. That confusion is real, and it's not because you're failing. This is exactly why I teach budgeting with purpose. A system that looks beyond simple expenses. Because your budget doesn't exist in isolation, it exists inside a real-life ecosystem. What I mean by budgeting with purpose. Budgeting with purpose means understanding your financial environment, not just your expenses. Aligning your spending with your real priorities. Building a system that reflects your life, not a generic template. This isn't about opinions. This isn't just a feeling. It's something many people experience once they start looking beyond surface-level budgeting advice. You don't feel broke because of what you spend. You feel stuck because of what your system carries. Let's break this down clearly so you can understand what's really happening and start building a financial system that actually works for your life. Your Spanish latte isn't the problem. Let's begin with the thing everyone loves to blame. The latte. If someone buys a basic £5 coffee every single morning without intention, yes, that can add up. But if once a week you sit down with a friend, enjoy a Spanish latte, catch up, breathe, reconnect, that is not poor financial behavior. That is a joyful moment that belongs in your budget. Cutting joy to save money is not sustainable, especially for those who already manage their money with care and intention. You are not broke because you allow yourself joy. Housing, the quiet force behind budget pressure. Housing is one of the biggest expenses shaping your financial ecosystem, and it has changed dramatically. In London, a one-bedroom flat now averages £2,050 per month. A two-bedroom sits closer to £2,900 to £3,200. Buying a property means facing an average price of £539,000. In Dubai, a one-bedroom rental averages 92,000 dirhams per year, around £20,000. And property prices often start around 1.9 million dirhams, around £400,000. These numbers aren't opinions or exaggerations. They're data, and they explain why many people, even with careful budgeting, feel the squeeze. Your Spanish latte is not competing with these costs. Housing is. Food costs. Eating has become expensive. Groceries are another area where your ecosystem impacts your finances. A family of 4 in the UK now spends around £110 to £150 weekly on groceries. That's nearly £500 to £600 per month for basic food, not luxury items. In Dubai, a similar family easily spends 900 to 1,200 dirhams weekly, around £200 to £260. You're not imagining the pressure. Even food, the most essential expense, has become heavy. Transportation, the everyday cost, many forget to count. Transportation quietly adds up. A one-way journey on the London Underground costs £2.80 to £3.50, depending on the zone. Dubai metro fares range from 3 to 7.5 AED, around 0.65 to 1.60 pounds. If you commute, drop kids at school, run errands, or occasionally take a taxi, transportation becomes a noticeable monthly cost. These aren't bad choices, they are daily necessities. Childcare, a financial weight. Many households carry. Childcare is one of the highest pressure points for families today. In London, full-time nursery costs roughly £1,600 to £2,000 per month. This is equivalent to a second rent or half a salary for many households. This isn't poor planning. This is your ecosystem. It's also why, in my article, Understanding Your Financial Ecosystem, I explain how younger generations are navigating financial realities that look nothing like the ones we were taught to expect. Healthcare, a global picture of rising essentials. Even if you're not based in the US, understanding global trends gives perspective. The average healthcare cost for a family of 4 in the US is $22,463 per year. That's over $1,800 per month before deductibles. This helps illustrate how essential services worldwide have taken a premium position. Again, this is not a latte problem, it's a system problem. Salary growth isn't matching today's realities. Here's the part most people feel deeply, even if they can't point to the exact cause. In the UK, the average salary increase has been around 5.6%, while inflation has reached 7 to 9% in recent years. Even with a raise, many people lose purchasing power. In Dubai, salaries have grown 2 to 4%, while rent has risen 15 to 22% in many areas. This means your salary isn't keeping up and your budget isn't the issue. This disconnect is exactly why long-term planning matters, especially when you're preparing ahead. Travel prices have shifted dramatically, and this one is personal. Travel is another category where prices have quietly changed, and for me, it's personal. My family lives in the Caribbean. Going home is not a vacation. It is emotional grounding, cultural connection, and being close to the people who shaped me. It is essential. Years ago, flying from Paris to Guadeloupe with Air France cost around €300 to €350. Today, the same route often costs €850 to €1,000 plus, even in low season. When people say just travel somewhere else, it doesn't make sense. You can't replace home with another destination. So when travel becomes 3 times more expensive, it's not mismanagement. It's life changing around you in ways your salary has not. Trend consumption, the hidden leak in your budget. Let's talk about the spending that truly disrupts a budget, not joyful moments, but trend-driven consumption. This is where influence sneaks into your financial ecosystem through the latest Labubu doll, the Starbucks limited bear edition cup, fast fashion hauls from Shein or Temu, and TikTok making you believe you need something new every few days. This type of spending rarely comes from joy. It comes from environment, pressure, and influence. This is why understanding your ecosystem matters. This is why ecosystem analysis is the foundation of the Budgeting with Purpose framework, because behavior never exists without context. Joy spending versus trend spending, a personal perspective. Now, let me speak from my own experience because it matters. I choose to go to a more expensive indoor cycling studio, not because I want luxury, but because I feel safe there. I feel supported, encouraged, and surrounded by a community that keeps me consistent. That environment is part of my well-being. A friend of mine attends a women-only gym because that's where she feels comfortable. That choice is based on safety, not overspending. Another close friend has a standing manicure-pedicure appointment every Thursday. It's her sacred me time, a ritual of care, reflection, and unwinding. That hour isn't about keeping up appearances. It's about tending to her well-being in the way that suits her best. And then there is my Spanish latte moment once a week with my friend. That moment of connection, breathing, talking, grounding, that is intentional. It nourishes me emotionally. If your budget feels tight despite doing everything right, start by grounding yourself in budgeting with purpose, not restriction, not guilt, but clarity. You cannot build a realistic, peaceful budget without understanding your triggers, your values, your environment, your emotional needs, and the context you live in. Your ecosystem influences your money far more than a Spanish latte ever will. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right and still not progressing, you're not alone. I've experienced this personally as well. Your budget doesn't need punishment. It needs context. You are not a latte away from being broke. You are navigating rising housing costs, increasing childcare, expensive groceries, transportation costs, slow salary growth, travel inflation, and everyday pressures your parents or grandparents never faced. Your budget feels tight not because you lack discipline, but because the world has shifted. Budgeting with purpose means honoring your needs, your values, and your peace of mind. It means understanding your ecosystem and making decisions that reflect your life, not someone else's rules. Your joy moments are valid. Your intentional spending is valid. And your financial reality deserves compassion, structure, and clarity, not restriction. If this resonated with you, explore my free budgeting tools, including a tracker and 200-question workbook on my website, and subscribe for early access to the Budgeting with Purpose Masterclass. Because budgeting isn't just about money, it's about clarity, resilience, and choosing freedom over fear.